What's up, everybody? I'm Rob Mann, one of your co-hosts, and I have opinions.
And I'm Raymond Penny, and I'm on a trip to Boston where I've got a whole bunch of Northeast opinions for us
Ooh,
today.
those are very loud and very strong opinions, my friend. I like it. All right.
Yeah, and thank you very much to Bullhorn Boston for allowing me to use their offices for the last couple of days. So shout out for me squatting here.
Raymond is co-working from Boston. If you're watching the video, I have my top button undone because I'm Miami, Rob, and Mr. Penny is buttoned up Boston over there. He's
Boston.
got the top button up. It's just, the vibe. You got to have the right vibe for where you are. And I'm Miami or in Fort Lauderdale, really, but it's Boston Raymond. Sorry, I would never
Yep.
call you that.
Yeah. Oh, that would have
I,
been the
I
end
know
of a
the
very
rules.
short episode.
I know the rules. But we should give you like a moniker that you never use, but
Yeah.
it's just there.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Not
Guys,
me.
speaking of knowing the rules and how things operate, terrible transition and segue there, but we made it work. We're going to talk about a couple of HBR videos that Raymond and I looked at this week, thinking about how you operate a business in 2026, but then also looking to your, 3, 5, 10 years out. Obviously, most importantly, we cannot predict what that's going to look like. We cannot predict if we are right, wrong, or indifferent. We are just going to throw out some ideas based on the conversations that we looked at and ideas that we've been having about the workforce. Raymond has actually been having these conversations internally. I'll let him share what he's comfortable sharing from those conversations about how Kylo will operate when he gets to it. But the two videos we're talking about, and then I'll shut up for a second here, is a video from HBR with the McKinsey Global Managing Partner, Bob Sternfels. So obviously one of the number one or top 4 consulting companies globally. And then a conversation that HBR had with Andy Jassy, who, if you're not familiar with, is the actual CEO of Amazon, even though our boy, Buff, what is he? Buff Bezos. Everyone's going to get a nickname, an alliteration nickname today.
Rocket Man.
Buff Bezos. He actually just bought Amazon just bought a satellite company.
Nice.
The SOS company that on your phone, whenever you're like out of service,
Oh,
you
yeah.
get SOS.
Oh, he needed one.
They bought that.
He needed one.
Like,
Elon's had one.
yeah.
Elon had one.
So anyway, so super cool. Anyway, those are the conversations that we're gonna talk about. I will let Raymond maybe highlight some of maybe like just the concerns that he has or that he's thinking about and comfortable sharing as it pertains to Kylo at the moment.
Yeah. And this is probably Kylo and another 10 or 15 businesses that I've had these conversations with. And I think that AI and what AI can do for people highlights a really big weakness in all organizations, including our own, that when you start somewhere, you get given a job description, and the job description was there in order for you to come in and do the role. And then what you actually do, how often you go back and change your job description? Not very often. And therefore, what you do starts to become maybe slightly different and have dependencies that aren't really called out. So when you start saying, hey, AI can help with this, if you start with a job description and deconstruct it, that really isn't a very easy way to go. If you go to hey, I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but there used to be things called time and motion studies, and time and motion studies were when somebody followed you around and watched what you did and wrote it on a clipboard. And maybe that's not something that we do today, but there'll be modern equivalents that are able to identify, hey, how do you do that task? Not what's written in your job description, but how do you actually do it? And I think that that's where, when you take a whole organization, which is in our examples made up of 60 or 70 people, all doing different things that are completely interrelated, and then say, how are we going to organize it if Claude can help with 3, 5, 10 of those tasks? Actually, it might be one task for 4 people, but everybody currently does it a little bit differently. And AI is going, hey, what do you want me to do? You want me to do it like this? You want me to do it like that? And therefore, there's a whole organizational change that everybody's got to do. And we're looking at it, and every other business is going, AI is great. Now, how do I change the structure of my organization to make advantage of it? And what does that mean? So that's why I thought the Harvard did a good job, as always. And hey, if Harvard are saying it, McKinsey are saying it, then some of it must be true.
Yeah. And the conversation that, number one, thank you for sharing that. And I think super fascinating to think about, right? Because you do get like this job creep, like scope creep, where you're just kind of like doing additional things. They're very like either tangential or online, or if it's not,
just helpful.
Yeah. Like you just look around and you're like, hey, I think the team would benefit if I did X. It's not in my job, but it's helpful. And so, and maybe that kind of is a connecting piece between what we think about when, a recruiter or a salesperson or even a manager is using the CRM ATS as a, like tying this back to technology, like we like to do here. And what we're seeing, right, is like, we always says like, you have 50 recruiters do something 50 different ways.
Yeah.
So
maybe 49 if you're really lucky.
Yeah. And so when AI goes to Raymond's point, which is really funny, the way you, like, if you're on video, it's really amazing the way that you did that. It's like, what actually should I do? Like if I'm the AI, I'm like, Raymond does it this way, Rob does it that way, Martin does it this way, Matt does it that way, Lauren does it another way. Like, which one do you want me to work through? Because they're all doing the same job. And
did you see the video just interrupt, did you see the video in the week of I think it was either Indian or Bangladeshi garment company, where in order for them to put robots and AI into their business, all of the people who were working there had to wear cameras on their head. And they wore cameras on their head so it could see what they were doing with their hands and what they did during the day to record it. And they all had it there. It was like really interesting to see.
I mean, I would have turned the camera off because I would have lost my job.
I'd have
I would have been like, I don't hand on it.
Yeah.
No, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like, it's just like, we're just assuming that AI is going to start taking responsibilities away. And maybe for the better, right? Like Raymond and I were joking before we started recording, like as a salesperson or as a sales leader, if the AI just told me what to do to make money for the organization and myself every day, like, Rob, you need to make 20 calls. Here's the people you're going to call, talk to them about X, and go. And then we'll follow. And like every time you hit a button, we'll send the email to follow up if you don't talk to them. Amazing. Oh, and those 2 deals, Rob, in the afternoon, you should follow up with them and create a little strategy. We need a pitch deck for this one. We need this with this one. Here's the pain point. Like, it would just, just ties your day together and you're just kind of cranking. I'm all in, but then Raymond asked,
do you have a morning briefing?
Not yet. You haven't made me one yet.
Come on, I'll send you one.
Yeah.
Every morning at 7:47, my Claude runs my morning briefing, and it looks at in the day what I need to be ready for, what happened yesterday, what I should be aware of.
Does it put like a big skull and crossbones for our meetings? It's just like, God, this is terrible, Raymond. I'm sorry.
Works really well for when in the US, because I've had half of the day already in the UK, and therefore what's been happening this morning, I don't have to go, hey guys, what's happening? It's telling me what's happening, and you have to do these 3 things. They are your priority. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I think it's there.
So we're getting a little sidetracked. Like, that would be super helpful. But as it comes back to, what does the AI do and how does it replace, or what does it take responsibility for? And then Raymond asked the next question, which was, hey, how do we compensate a salesperson if AI is doing, again, it's important that we said all that stuff. If AI is really helping you guide your day,
give them a resourcer fee. Hey, if they found the candidate, you can have the resourcer fee, no problem at all.
Well, and look at HubSpot, Raymond, right? Like, the credits are now outcome based, right? As they charge you.
Yes.
So, and I've talked about this before with other people on the other podcasts, is like, how close are we to the outcome economy as opposed to the pay for your time economy, which it is what it is. So, really interesting questions. If you haven't been asking or having those conversations, now you kind of have a jumping off point from these 2 knuckleheads that are giving you some we have these conversations, so we're not just 2 random humans having this thought. So we get we get through that part. We're asking really good questions about our business, how we're going to work agentic AI along with humans and what that's going to look like. And we're just asking questions and then troubleshooting and trying to figure out the future of work essentially here. It's a small topic, but we're trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. But I think so skipping to the Andy Jassy video, and Andy is talking about Amazon, this, we all know it, gigantic behemoth of a company operating like a startup. And how do they do that? And what does that mean? And I think, we partner with large companies, Raymond. And I think we always kind of know that like large companies are hard to turn. They're hard to get things done. Um, and shout out to Bullhorn, and Raymond's in the office. So like Bullhorn is actually moving tremendously quickly for a large company when it pertains to AI.
The best I've ever seen.
Yeah. So shout out to those guys. They are moving really fast right now. And that's not always been the case. Sorry, like the news is the news.
Yeah.
And Andy Jassy laid out 4 things that he thought were really important for operating like a startup for Amazon. So I'll highlight those and I'll get Raymond's opinion here. So number 1, you got to be fast, right? How can you flatten the organization so you can make decisions quickly without having multiple layers of processes? I actually put a note, Raymond. When was the last time you Marie Kondoed like the decision-making processes in your business? Like, why do I need Raymond's approval to spend $30 to buy someone a gift card? You know what I mean? Like, so like most rules are created because one person messes up something, and it's probably not even that bad that they messed it up. But we created a rule for it. So when's the last time you were like, these don't bring me joy or help my business? Throw them out, Marie Kondo it, right? Throw the things away in your house that no longer bring you joy, or are obviously creating efficiency or efficacy in your business, and they're just making it harder to get things done and create incredible experiences for your customers. The next one is hire owners, people with extreme ownership of and pride in what they're building. They think like an entrepreneur, and they're creative, and they're just running, and they're trying to get things done and do the best thing for the customer. He said Amazon is focused on having a lot of builders in-house, people who can build the technology, the apps, really strong workflows. So he's really focused on bringing in and keeping builders into the business.
Makes sense.
And then the last one, which is should be the first one, but it's just the way that was written and the way he's talking about it, was be obsessive about listening to customers and then always asking yourselves what they're actually trying to solve. And maybe they're saying one thing, but it's really, nuanced, and the solution, it looks like the solution should be Z because it's just very straightforward, but maybe they're not asking the right question or getting the right answer. And they need to, tweak the solution and just really be creative about how they do that. So again, speed, extreme ownership, builders, and obsessive and listening. Still, that one applies always, but that's how you create startups, right? You actually solve real problems, and you think, is that the real problem, or is the real problem actually this? And they just didn't know it.
Yeah, I think that ownership part that you say there is something that really stands out in people. When you have someone who takes something and owns it, then it really stands out and is the first step towards that entrepreneurial nature. How am I doing? How much do I value my time? Do I cut it early if it looks like I'm wasting time on it? One of the things that came up the other day is that buying AI technology is the easiest bit, and adopting AI or adopting to change that's facilitated via AI is a behavioral thing, and people don't like to change their habits. Instinct is what you've always done, whether it's with a spreadsheet or an email or on your phone or wherever you go, you do it in a particular way. And breaking that workflow is either an incentive-based thing or a trust-based thing, or giving people the freedom to have a go, make a mistake. It's not a big deal, learn from it, and then come back. But someone's job is always going to, or someone's job with the help of AI, early on when AI, everybody was like, hey, you're going to augment people with AI, and that's going to make superhumans or super agents or super recruitment consultants. And what happened was, and we didn't change any KPIs, or we didn't change how people get paid, or we didn't change the behavior of the top biller or the middle biller or the manager or whatever it may be. And therefore, it's sort of got a little bit lost and maybe 20% of the tool got used, maybe. Um, but it's until you hit that aha moment. And one of the things that's really stuck for me has been the morning briefing. Very useful. It would have been what I'd spent my time doing. 7:37 morning briefing. What's
Yeah,
been
earlier, by
happening?
the way,
How should I?
7:47.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think it's 37:47. I'll
Well, you let
check.
us know.
I'll check in a minute
Yeah,
and I'll tell you.
check when
Yeah,
you're
I
ready.
will do.
Uh,
But it's there when I come in. It's there when I come in.
I think what that falls under, though, truthfully, is like it's still under the research piece for you. It's still
Okay. Yeah.
like it's consolidating a bunch of data and then
Yeah.
displaying it in a very in a format that you enjoy, like that you can be productive with. It's not thinking for you or solving for you, right? So it's not like it's an agent going out and doing the research about the business of Kylo for you and delivering it in a very easy to execute and consume way, right?
Well, it suggests what is needed to be done.
Oh, okay. Well, that's that.
I haven't been brave enough to go
Just go
and
do
then
it. Just
do
go
it.
do it. Yeah, that's fair.
That's a
Well,
stage
you
I
might have
haven't
to have
quite
like
got to.
the criteria, like
Yeah.
loop human in for these things. Go, just go do these things and leave me
Yeah.
alone. Just tell me you did it, and what you did.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. Why do I need to know? It's just done.
well, I mean, you're the kind of person who would want to know what happened.
And unfortunately, that's a behavioral change that I've got to make in order to
I don't
make it
know. It's
work.
not the worst.
Again,
It's not the
maybe,
worst quality. It's not like you actually like waste a bunch of time every time you find out something. You're just like, oh, okay, that happened, cool, and then you can move on. There are probably people who cannot.
the interesting part about the Harvard Business Review and McKinsey, I would say McKinsey must be looking at themselves really hard.
Well, that was part of the. So I'm gonna link the video. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what he said. He's like, and I thought this was interesting. That Bob, the global managing partner, he says the way that so McKinsey turned 100 this year. The way that
Okay.
we operated and served our customers has changed and then just insert the speed. So he's saying it's not weird for us to adapt to what customers need. And, right, like Raymond, you don't need people to tell you the numbers of your business or if something is working or not. You can use AI and Power BI really well and see that. And you could do that when I worked for you in 2022, right? So 4 years ago. Now, what we don't know is, hey, McKinsey, I could see all that for myself. I could do all this research for myself. I could redo my go-to-market strategy myself. What's that next? And this is what Bob says. What's that next complicated question that you're not ready for? And the most important one is, he was like, the most important one is like, how do I double market cap or how do I double revenue? And that's really what a consultant is there for, right? Remove barriers, accelerate, which, using AI is helpful for. So I think that was to what you were saying is like, he's like, we're disrupting ourselves. We're looking at ourselves so closely. They also had I was listening to that video, and if you listen, they had a bunch of regulatory and like criminal kind of issues that happened. And so they're looking at how they onboard new customers and how they vet new customers. And there's lots of criteria that go into it. So they're much more compliance based as they onboard a new customer, which shout out to McKinsey, I guess, for being self-aware and also probably costing them billions of dollars in lawsuits to figure out and fix those things. So, yeah, that was interesting.
The thing I took from one of them was that you've also got to either, or I'll say it, you've got to incentives will beat intentions.
Yeah,
so
I'm a big carrot person.
Someone would like to change. They've been on the training course, they've watched the video, they understand that, hey, I don't eat chocolate brownies. But if you say, hey, if you lose 10 pounds by the end of May, then great, you'll have something else. Then that incentive will help hey, I shouldn't eat chocolate brownies. And I'm not sure our industry, other industries have got to the point where how can they encourage staff to adopt these things and how to reward it. And our industry is a very, very reward based.
Yeah.
industry. It's probably the most
I
reward.
mean, it's a sales job.
One of the most. Yeah, it is.
Have you ever had a sales job where you didn't have a bonus or commission structure? You shouldn't. You should leave.
Yeah.
Unless you're the owner,
Yeah,
right? Like you're the owner of the business, so like you don't.
But you've got bigger incentives.
Yeah. There's always a carrot, right? And if there's not a carrot, then it's like that trifecta, right? If I'm getting paid really well and the job sucks, I can deal with it because I'm getting paid really well. If I'm not getting paid really well, but I love the job, I can probably deal with that a little bit too because it's awesome. There's just kind of like that matrix of like, how much I can deal with this for, and money.
One of the other organizational things I think that's going to be that I see as a challenge is where the existing structures have defined owners, and for the process to be redesigned, some of those owners might leave the domain that they currently feel very comfortable in, and they're going to have to give part to someone else and gain something that they don't currently have. And
that should be consistent across history, though. That's kind of that McKinsey thing of how a consultant operates, right? And our industry is atrocious at this. No offense maybe offense to everyone, but like, it's fine. You guys are making money, but like, we're pretty bad at changing.
Yeah. We've maybe never quite followed the Bob Rotella. So the Masters was last weekend. Bob Rotella is the psychology coach for Rory McIlroy. One of the things that Bob Rotella consistently says is trust in the process. And we're not an industry with great process. And if a process is broken, you can't really automate it or AI it. As I go back to my initial point, hey, you guys all do it differently. What am I meant to do?
Yeah. Also, you all have your own Excel files or Google Sheets. Yeah. Like, I think the Excel file and what you just said, everyone does it differently, really makes using AI automation and reporting very hard. So anyway, we'll link the videos, guys. Just the recap, right? The future of work, what it looks like with agents and your team, and how do you structure your business is the question we're asking. If you have great ideas, or if you've been thinking about it and you want to send us some notes, please do. My email is it's in the notes, so you can shoot a note to me. And obviously, any comments, thoughts, please drop them in either Spotify or wherever you listen. Especially YouTube is the best. And Mr. Penny, enjoy the wedding that you were going to.
I will do my very best. Brooklyn, look out. And to Brooke and Matt, congratulations.
There's going to be a Scottish man on the loose. All right. Yeah. And before we drop,
if you see a man in a kilt on Friday night in Brooklyn, look up for him.
I'm going to go. I'll tell my really good friends to. Do you want any recommendations? By the way, I haven't asked you. I have a friend who is.
I'm just full.
Okay, you're not there long enough that you need restaurant recommendations.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, guys. We'll skip the Aberdonian slang and we'll let Raymond get back to work here. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to R Cubed, where Raymond and Rob talk recruitment, or recruitment is talked about by Raymond and Rob. Please remember to subscribe wherever you are tuned in and give it a like. Also, those comments are going to help get this show on the road. If you found anything valuable, you definitely need to subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.